to the Midday News on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana CTAC boycott meeting by Fair Wages and Salaries Commission as teachers in all 46 public colleges of education in Ghana declare indefinite strike to demand improved conditions of service. Also this afternoon, Ghana will miss its 2025 target of at least testing 95% of population for HIV/AIDS due to financial constraint, stigmatization and other factors. Much later on the program, as we celebrate Blood Donors Day today, we bring you the story of Noeline, a 46 times and counting blood donor. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, teachers in all 46 public colleges of education in Ghana have laid down their tools over their demand for improved conditions of service. Leadership of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana CTAC says the government delay in implementing the National Labour Commission's arbitral award orders and negotiated service conditions is a breach of agreement. CTAC in a statement said that the strike is to guarantee the economic right of its members under Article 24(1 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana and Section 10A and B of the Labour Act 2003 Act 651. The president of CTAC, Prince Obeng-Hima, has been speaking to my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar.
When you look at Section 164 of the Labour Act, it tells you that when the National Labour Commission comes out with orders, nobody can vary it. And when you also look at the ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution 798, it also tells you that with all due respect to the Supreme Court, not even the Supreme Court can vary the decisions of the orders of the National Labour Commission. So we are baffled that down to almost 1 year, over 1 year down the line, the orders are yet to be complied with. And mind you, it impoverishes our people. It infringes on people's economic rights. People who ought to have benefited from this arrangement before going on retirement would have had different salary scale which will determine what they will take when they go home. Now you deprive them of that. They've gone home with meager salaries, and people when they go home after 60, that is where all forms of payment also come out. So what are you doing? You are helping to sign the death warrant of those people, and I don't think this should be countenanced. So that is why we have activated Section 159 of the Labour Act, which is legal strike action, having exhausted all energies to get them to do what they have to do. So as we speak now, we have sent letters to our members across the country, and then meetings have been conducted, the strike has been activated, and it's indefinite strike. We'll wait till the government complies fully with all the arbitral award.
Prince Obeng-Hima is the president of CTAC. Let's check the situation across campuses of the colleges of education. Evelyn Tema is at the Accra College of Education. She joins me live on the line. Evelyn, has the strike taken into effect yet?
Yes, Beatrice, it has taken effect. And on campus here, we have been told by some of the teachers that we spoke to that this morning they were actually in their classroom to teach. But later they had a message from their executives to stop teaching, and so they had to do so. They are saying that they are not really happy about the strike, but they have to comply with their directives, and of course their welfare will have to be addressed. And one of the lecturers I spoke to, Beatrice Adu, he says that of course the whole of last year they taught throughout the year without a break, yet the allowances that they were supposed to be paid have not been paid them, and so they have their welfare is very important to them, and for that matter, they will have to comply with the directives. And so for now, there's no teaching ongoing at the Accra College of Education here. Beatrice.
You spoke to somebody at the premises there. Who is that person? What did the person say?
That is one of the lecturer, Beatrice Adu, and like I said, he was basically saying that they have to go on the strike because their welfare will have to be addressed. And basically, and we also spoke to some students as well who are also pleading with government to give the lecturers what they are asking for, because this obviously is going to disrupt the academic calendar. And of course, remember, Beatrice, they resume school just this Monday, and so academic work is being disrupted. So far as the strike would prolong, it would distract the whole academic calendar. And so the students are also pleading with the government to ensure that they address their concerns so that the teachers will come back to their classroom. Beatrice.
Evelyn Tingma, thank you very much for giving us that update. We can listen to Beatrice Adu, that lecturer Evelyn spoke to hear exactly what he said.
I was in class teaching when my union chair, the local chair of Accra College of Education, came to the classroom to ask me to stop teaching because we have begun the strike. So I had no option than to stop teaching, even though my students were begging me to continue to engage them, but I couldn't have also deferred the order from my local chair. So we are on strike. I left the class.
So I know you just resumed school this Monday. Is that not going to affect the academic calendar?
Definitely. Every strike affects academic calendar, and this one is not an exception because I should have gone back to teach another group of students. And since I'm on strike, I will not be able to engage them. So definitely there is going to be a gap between me and my students, and it's going to affect the course outline as well. So definitely academic calendar will be affected.
But you don't mind?
No, I also want my welfare. It's not just about teaching.
You heard Beatrice Adu. He's a lecturer at the Accra College of Education. Earlier, you heard a reporter, Evelyn Tingma, giving us updates from that campus. We are joined by Ibrahim Abubakar. He joins us live from the Ashanti region. Ibrahim, what's the situation where you are?
Well, it's not different from what other regions are reporting. Here in Kumasi, I've been to the St. Louis College of Education and also the Wesley College of Education, and the students are not happy with what is happening. We have some of the teachers who have come to the school because they were unaware of the strike, but since they've been communicated this morning, they are not teaching. We know that these students resumed to school just last week. So the fear is that if nothing is done to bring their teachers back to the classroom, then it means that it is going to interrupt their academic calendar, and this is something they do not wish to happen. So they are just hoping that the government intervenes so their teachers resume their services.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Abubakar. We can listen to, again, Prince Obinghima, who is the president of CTAC, addressing a different issue when he spoke to Ibrahim Abubakar.
We have always attended their meetings. We've always been with them, but this particular one, because we were scattered and we had planned other unionized activities, there was no way we could truncate, so we couldn't go. When we were not on strike and the invitation came, it was straight away. But now that we are on strike, any invitation coming, we treated case by case merit. We'll have to seek the needed legal advice from our lawyer. We need to take the needed advice from our labor consultant. We need to also look at the situation on the ground and then determine whether we'll have to attend or we don't have to attend. It's important to state that the solution to the issue doesn't lie in meetings. We've attended these meetings over 30 times. The solution simply lies in implementing. So implement and come and show us evidence of implementation. Then that will be all.
Prince Obinghima is the president of CTAC. News just coming in. The Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Employment and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission are this afternoon holding an emergency media briefing. Daniel Opoko is our Labour Affairs correspondent. He joins us live on the line. Daniel, what can you report from this event?
Right, good afternoon, Beatrice. Currently, the Ministry of Education, the Fair Wages Salaries Commission, have called the striking lecturers of College of Education to be in there. But unfortunately, they have decided not to come, which the Ministry and Fair Wages have described the decision as marks of bad faith, because they said they signed a couple of letters inviting them out. For them failing to attend the meeting, they think it's not in the right direction. For this meeting, they believe would have resolved their problem. When we look at the concerns that the lecturers have raised, they are looking at them being given some 1 month period because they lost.
Daniel, we are losing you. If you could reposition yourself so we can hear you clearly. Hello, Daniel Opoku. All right, it seems we have lost Daniel Opoku on the line there, but he's telling us about that, or he was giving us details of that emergency media briefing by the Ministries of Education, Finance and Employment, and also the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which is currently ongoing. We'll be reconnecting to him again and bring you details of that emergency media briefing. Now, you may have already heard about, but if you haven't, Dumsor is returning for the next 3 weeks. That's according to the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, and the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. The situation, according to the power sector players, has been occasioned by a drop in gas supply from Nigeria via the West African Gas Pipeline Company Limited, WAPCO. In a joint statement by ECG and Gridco, it said that the development will result in load shedding at least for the next few weeks until the situation improves. Let's run you through the details, starting with details of what WAPCO says is a planned maintenance work. It says WAPCO Transporters of Gas from Nigeria has shut down its facility for a 3-week maintenance, resulting in a decrease of gas available for WAPCO to transport to customers in Togo, Benin and Ghana. Current situation is entirely out of WAPCO's control. WAPCO continues to transport gas from the western region of Ghana to Tema, also in Ghana, and we expect normalcy to return after the maintenance activities. Now, ECG and Gridco's joint statement also said that the maintenance has caused reduction in overall power generation capacity in Ghana, which could result in load management over the period of work. Gridco and ECG collaborating with other stakeholders in power value chain to optimize available resources to ensure minimal impact on consumers. We'll be getting an energy analyst to analyze this situation for us. But ahead of that, you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll bring you more on this and other stories.
Now is an opportune moment for investors to consider the remarkable investment opportunity presented by the Floria Residence, the pinnacle of luxury living in Cantonment. Offering a range of options from executive studios to lavish penthouses, including 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom apartments. Amenities and services includes round-the-clock security services, dedicated play areas, a bustling commercial zone, state-of-the-art fitness facilities and gym, a well-appointed conference room, an elegant rooftop sky bar, and a breathtaking rooftop infinity swimming pool. Additionally, residents benefit from the convenience of a secured 3-floor underground car park, while those residing in the ocean view penthouses enjoy unparalleled vistas. We are located opposite the Laboni Palace Mall, Accra. Contact us on 0595700008.
You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM. Thank you for staying. The Kolebu Renal Center has resumed partial operations after the unit shut down for maintenance works. Patients who went to the facility for dialysis services were turned away on Thursday as a result of the ongoing maintenance works. This morning, the unit has resumed operations. Judith Brown is there. She joins us live on the line. Judith, what's the latest from the center?
Right, and so Beatrice, currently in front of the Renal Center. Not too many people are here, but the few people here say that, of course, the center is only open to persons who are on admission. And so I spoke to one lady who actually came with her uncle. He has had some complications as a result of the disease, and they had to be transferred to another hospital. But they said that hospital was too far, and so they had to come back here and plead with them to give him treatment, even if they had to pay. And so they've actually paid some amount of money, over 400 cedis, just to get treatment. They're currently still here. And so this is what she has been saying.
He was on admission last week, and he was given free treatment, that's dialysis. So when he was discharged, we were placed at Midday, at Abufu clinic for the dialysis. So the information is that unless you are on admission, before you can be given free treatment. So yesterday we went to Abufu, we paid about 490, and they couldn't do it. They said the tube, there's a problem, so we have to come back here today. So today we came, they corrected the tube, and he's on the dialysis now, but we have to pay 491.
So it's not free for today?
No, it's not free, and it's not open for all, unless you are on admission. Yeah, unless you're on admission before it can be free. So like one slot, then others you have to go and do it private. So we were even talking to them that if it's about money, then they should allow us to pay and do it here than driving all the way to Abofu, and when there's a problem we have to come here for correction. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You heard a patient, rather a relative of a patient, a renal patient at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, telling our reporter Judith Brown what the situation is like on the ground. Earlier, you heard Judith also reporting on the situation at the hospital. We stay on health because Ghana will miss its 2025 target of at least testing 95% of the population for HIV/AIDS due to financial constraints, stigmatization, and other factors. This, according to the Ghana AIDS Commission, is a setback to the country's overall target of reducing new HIV infections by half in 2030. There's more in the following report.
UN member states in 2010 adopted a political declaration in order to get the world on track to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. The targets in the declaration include achieving a 95% testing, 95% treatment, and 95% viral suppression targets within all demographics, including children and adolescents living with HIV. Though efforts have increased in management of the virus and awareness creation, the Ghana AIDS Commission fears the targets will not be achievable.
Testing is the entry point for treatment, and so all the other two, that is the second and third 95s, that is viral suppression and treatment, both hinge on testing. And so if we have not achieved the testing target, which is 95%, it is obvious that we have not achieved the other two targets.
Stakeholders at a national HIV and AIDS prevention summit advocated for removal of social barriers that have become impediment to breaking the stigma.
Breaking down these barriers requires a concerted effort from all sectors of society. We must work together to challenge stigma, promote human rights, and ensure equitable access to HIV prevention services for all.
The government of Ghana has worked over the years to strengthen health delivery system by investing in requisite structures that are ready to support the implementation of strategies that will emanate from this summit.
The summit themed Breaking Barriers, Building Bridges, Uniting for Effective HIV Prevention will develop a framework on new and innovative strategies towards prevention, reduction, and achieving the global and local targets.
There was a report on Ghana likely to miss its HIV target testing target by the year 2025. Now, despite failing to achieve a promise of having municipal and district chief executives elected over a lack of consensus built, the flag bearer of the NPP is promising to do something about the situation. A 2022 Afrobarometer report contends that more than 2/3 of Ghanaians want MMDCEs elected. Let's listen to the local government minister, Martin Aju Kosa, speaking more about why Dr. Bawumia sees it necessary to return to this issue.
It's something we need to engage in. I mean, all around the world, with the exception of Ghana, I stand to be corrected, the Slovakia or something, and then parts of Canada. Everywhere, MMDCs are elected on partisan basis. We missed the opportunity by our inability to build consensus. Yes. The NPP thought that, yes, make these elections, local level elections happen, and then make it partisan. The NEC thinks, yes, we support it, but it cannot be partisan. And we couldn't make our way out. But it should be as soon as possible. If you look at the challenges that we have in our governance space, conflicts that mitigates against the programs that we want to implement, just because there are other interests other than the national interest. Elections of MMDCs could solve it. You don't have a situation where somebody feels unaccountable to the chief executive, or the chief executive feels that I'm not accountable to somebody. The elections will cure it. It will make people more accountable. People will have to face a certain body for approval, and so they are more accountable to the people. It is the best way to go, but I think that there is another opportunity to try it. We have to deepen the consensus. The president threw that duty back to local government to work and build enough consensus. So the Institute of Local Governance Service in Medina is charged with that responsibility of engaging further with stakeholders. They've done some bit of work. I'm not sure where they are, but overall, they've been building the consultative process, meeting and engaging with people and discussing the matter on the need to have a forged front and go. So it leaves to be revisited, but we need to build the bridges behind so that we are clear what we are heading. Now, as the advisor to the manifesto committee, the party continues to live with that commitment and hope that this country moves to the point where we elect MMDCs and make them much more accountable, much more effective, and once we are going to face the electorate, you work, deliver, achieve results so that you can have a favorable outcome. So we are still committed to it. That plus others is still in our manifesto, and we keep pushing. We believe that it's a good thing. And once we secure enough consensus, devoid of partisan interest, we should be able to push this through.
Local Government Minister Martin Aju Kosa. They are not just blood donors. The quality of the blood you receive at the hospital when sick is dependent on their lifestyle choices. As we celebrate Blood Donors Day today, we bring you the story of Noelane, a 46 times and counting blood donor. A story by Sarah Apinkro.
Noelane has been donating blood to the blood bank every 4 months for 25 years. She says she was inspired from a blood donation campaign during her senior high school days at St. John's Grammar in 1999. For Noelane, it is not just donating blood, but ensuring the availability of blood when needed to save the lives of people she barely knows.
When I'm due, I just walk to the blood bank, donate. Then they will just give you, a coffee drink, or when you are done, you are gone. Instead of losing people because of blood donation, you still give them a second chance to live. As I'm talking to you now, just this morning, I had a call. Someone needs 4 units of blood.
Noelane says she watches her lifestyle as a donor.
I'm very careful about whatever I take in, because I know anything I take in, I think about the people relying on my blood. Things like sleeping around and so on and so forth, it doesn't help.
She's among some 100 voluntary blood donors in the country who, despite these selfless acts, are not regarded by many. President of the National Blood Donors Association, Elizabeth Adase Akotia, recounted how the selfless act of kindness to donate blood by donors saved her life.
Most times when blood is needed, it's an emergency. Lives might be lost within 2 hours if the blood is not available. Therefore, we would encourage all Ghanaians to donate.
For medical practitioners who require blood every day in their line of work to save lives, the act of blood donors cannot be overemphasized.
Very often, we encounter the need for blood after delivery. We call that postpartum hemorrhage. And in a matter of minutes, you lose a valuable young woman.
Donate blood today to save a life tomorrow.
Sarah Pinko filed that report on the international front. South Africa has seen a seismic political shift following the decision of the ANC and DA to form a coalition government. Many ANC supporters see the DA as a racist party trying to make sure that white people hang on to the economic privileges they built up during the discriminatory system of apartheid. Now, the ANC has decided to enter into a coalition government with it and has included the mainly black Ikartha Freedom Party, partly to make the deal more palatable to its constituency. And that's how we end the news here on Shri FM. Our top stories. Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana (CETA) boycott meeting by Fair Wages and Salaries Commission as teachers in all 46 public colleges of education in Ghana declare indefinite strike to demand improved conditions of service. We also brought you that story about Ghana missing its 2025 target of at least 95% testing of the population for HIV/AIDS due to financial constraints, stigmatization, and other factors. We just brought you the story about Noeline, a 46 times and counting blood donor, as we celebrate Blood Donors Day today. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
Calling all vendors, parents, guardians, expectant mothers and fathers. The 3FM Baby Fair is back. 3FM 92.7 presents the 3FM Baby Fair 2024. Your one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, and child development products for 3 exciting days on Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th, and Sunday the 16th of June 2024 at the Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. Are you a vendor or dealer in children products or services, children educational materials, or anything related to children of all ages? Then you need to be at the 92.7 3FM Baby Fair. To be a part of the fair and exhibit your product and services, please call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 right now. Parents, make it a family affair at the 3FM Baby Fair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement. 3FM Baby Fair on the 14th June, 15th June, and 16th June 2024 at Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. 3FM Baby Fair is powered by 3FM, supported by TV3 and Marina Mall. 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. 3FM Baby Fair is proudly sponsored by the First Bank Ghana, Cousins Baby, and Fidelity Bank.
afternoon. It's time now for Business Daily. Coming up, Bank of Ghana justifies 10.5 billion cedis loss as it argues its main goal is to maintain price stability and not profit-driven. We'll bring you details.
If you look at them.
Plus, economist urges Parliament scrutiny of IMF bailout tranches received as he raises concerns of mismanagement.
If you look at the whole IMF bailout of the first tranche payment, the second tranche payment, basically there hasn't been any economic benefit so far to the economy.
I am Bismarck Ausa. These stories and others lined up for you. Stay with me. Thanks for your company. Now to our very first story. The Bank of Ghana has justified its loss making in the last few years, insisting it does not affect its operations. The central bank reported a loss of 10.5 billion cedis for the financial year ending 2023. However, the bank has come under public scrutiny for the losses. Here are excerpts of the central bank's release. The primary reason for the loss was a significant increase in total interest expenses on open market operations by the central bank, which increased by 6.7 billion cedis during the review period. Using the European Central Bank's podcast published in February 2023 as a case study, the Bank of Ghana said the central bank does not work towards making a profit. It says its aim or mandate is to keep prices stable. The Bank of Ghana said the recent 8.3 billion cedis cost incurred was significant, as the mopping up exercise contributed to the reduction of inflation by more than 30 percentage points from a high of 54.1% as at end of December 2022 to 23% at the end of December 2023. The central bank added that keeping inflation low and stable was a precondition for economic growth, and that within a floating exchange rate regime, it also contributes to exchange rate stability. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana says its medium-term inflation target is 8%. However, it accepts fluctuations of plus or minus 2% of this target. And that was excerpts of Bank of Ghana's release justifying its recent loss of 10.9 billion cedis. In another release, Bank of Ghana has thrown more light on the reason for revoking the license of GN Savings and Loans in 2019. Group Indum's chief executive, Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum, in a Facebook post, recently accused former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta of collapsing the bank for political reasons. However, the Bank of Ghana has refuted the claims in a fresh release citing infractions on the part of GN Savings and Loans. The following Newsdesk report has more.
The Bank of Ghana revoked the licenses of 23 insolvent savings and loans companies and finance house companies on August 16, 2019. The BOG said that it had given the institutions a reasonable period to recapitalize by their shareholders, but they failed to do so. GN Savings and Loans Company Limited was one of the companies that had its license revoked. GN Savings and Loans Company Limited was originally incorporated as First National Savings and Loans Company Limited. It was later renamed GN Bank Limited after it was issued with a universal banking license. However, GN Bank was reclassified as a savings and loans company again in January 2019 due to its inability to meet the new required minimum paid-up capital. The BOG revoked GN's license because it was insolvent and in breach of key prudential regulatory requirement. GN had a negative capital adequacy ratio and negative net worth. It also faced a liquidity crisis and failed to meet the minimum cash reserve requirement. The BOG found that GN's insolvency problems were largely due to overdrafts and other facilities it extended to its related parties in violation of relevant regulations. The related parties failed to pay back these funds, affecting GN's capital position and leading to its insolvency. In addition to GN's insolvency and liquidity challenges, the BOG also found other regulatory violations, including unauthorized transfers of depositors' funds and failure to publish its audited accounts.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Moving on, economist Dr. Saad Idrisu is urging Parliament to scrutinize the funding support received so far from the International Monetary Fund Economic Program. He says this has become necessary to ensure that the funds trickling in are used for the intended purposes to alleviate the hardship on Ghanaians. Speaking to 3 Business, Dr. Saad Idrisu raised concerns of the persistent depreciation of the cedi amid the interventions.
If you look at the whole IMF bailout of the first tranche payment, the second tranche payment, basically there hasn't been any economic benefit so far to the economy. So where is government heading to, or where is government taking the economy to? Are we going to see another basically wastage of the third tranche payment coming in again? These are pertinent issues that Ghanaians need to know. And I'm calling on Parliament to hold the Finance Minister accountable. He should come to Parliament and account to the citizens how government has spent the first tranche payment and the second tranche payment that we received so far. We shouldn't just be focusing on getting the third tranche payment, but what happens to those funds are equally important as just receiving those funds. And I am much particular in the impact of those funds. Well, within the economic cycle, mostly the trickle-down effect, it will take time. But within a year, we should see signs of it, even if we don't see the full growth. But we should see signs indicating that the economy will grow.
Economist Dr. Saad Idrisu there. Now, another economist, Professor Charles Aka, has reiterated the need for government to reduce Ghana's import duties and taxes to promote business growth and enhance value-added exports. His call comes on the back of a study on performance of companies within special economic zones against those operating out by the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, which indicated more companies chose to operate in the free zone enclaves due to some tax incentives offered. The survey further reveals special economic zone firms are more productive and resilient to economic challenges.
The concept is good. The gaps are such that, well, it's not still well known. And 2, beyond the infrastructure is not the major bottlenecks to businesses. Access to credit, cheap credit, and the free zone doesn't offer credit. It doesn't offer, so we need to enhance the package. At the moment, we saw that many firms go there because they get duty-free, tax-free, which means that the taxes are too high for businesses. That's why they want to go and hide into the free zones. So how do we make sure that companies are not overburdened with taxes at the port, and also income taxes and corporate taxes, so that if that is a constraint, then let's loosen it. How do we make sure that other companies that are not in the free zone also has access to good infrastructure, electricity, water, good roads? You don't need to be in the free zones only to benefit. Across the whole of Ghana must be a free zone, so that no matter where your company is, you have good access to infrastructure and raw materials and skilled labor, and also access to cheap credit.
And that was economist Professor Charles Aka. Now, before we go, the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, is calling for Ghana's debt to GDP ratio to be capped at 60% and a fiscal deficit ceiling of 3%. Director of Research at the Institute, Dr. John Kwachi, argues that lack of ceiling to the country's fiscal deficit has been the main factor pushing it to perennial economic crisis and subsequent call on the International Monetary Fund for bailouts. IEA is optimistic these targets have the potential to deliver debt sustainability to the country.
We want the debt to GDP ratio to be capped at 60%. Now, this 60% is deemed sustainable threshold for middle-income countries. It's a rough figure. Some people, again, will argue that maybe we need a higher debt to GDP ratio. Some people will argue that we need less. But if you look at the literature, 60% is about the average, rule, for middle-income countries, of which Ghana is one. Now, we want this cap to apply on a continuous basis. In other words, we should obey it in every point in time. Somebody should, of course, monitor it, and that's where we're going to come to a fiscal council and Parliament's role.
And that was Director of Research at the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, Dr. John Kwachi, ending Business Daily with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please log on to 3news.com. Thanks for your company.